Barış had just wrapped up a grueling day of shooting. He leaned back in his car, staring at the glowing city lights. If you like the video, subscribe and comment. Despite the fame, the awards, and the endless schedules, something felt missing in his life. Meanwhile, Elçin was attending a private art exhibition near Beyoğlu. She loved art, colors, emotions, and brushstrokes spoke to her in ways words couldn't. She had been avoiding the spotlight recently, keeping her life low-key. That night, fate decided to play its role. Barış arrived at the same gallery to support a close friend. As he walked in, his eyes scanned the crowd. And there she was, Elçin, dressed in a simple black dress, her auburn hair glowing under the lights. Their eyes met after years, and in that moment, time seemed to pause. At first, it was casual. Barış? I didn't expect to see you here, Elçin smiled warmly. Elçin, it's been a long time, he replied. They talked about art, about life, about how fame sometimes steals simple happiness. Hours slipped by as if they were the only two people in the gallery. The comfort between them hadn't faded, it had only grown stronger. When the night ended, Barış offered to drop her home. In the car, silence wrapped them, not heavy but intimate. Elçin looked out the window, whispering, you know, people always believed our story on screen. But sometimes I wonder if we ever gave ourselves a chance, off-screen. Barış's hands tightened on the steering wheel. Maybe we were too scared then. But maybe now, we shouldn't be. They began meeting secretly. Not for the cameras, not for interviews, just two souls rediscovering each other. Walks along the Bosphorus, midnight calls, and stolen laughter. They guarded their little world carefully, afraid the media would turn it into a circus. But every time Barış looked at her, he felt an ache he hadn't known before. And every time Elçin caught his smile, her heart raced like a teenager's. Love, however, is never without complications. Rumors began to swirl, paparazzi spotted them leaving a cafe together. Tabloids screamed headlines, Barış and Elçin, back together or just friends? Elçin, who valued her privacy deeply, panicked. I don't want my life turned into gossip, she told him. Barış held her hands. Then let's not hide. Let's just be ourselves. The world will talk anyway, let them. She hesitated, torn between fear and the undeniable pull of her heart. One evening, they attended a charity gala separately. Cameras flashed, fans screamed, reporters demanded answers. And then, in front of everyone, Barış walked up to Elçin, took her hand, and smiled. The crowd gasped, cameras clicked like thunder, and social media exploded within minutes. #BarışElçin trended worldwide. Elçin whispered, you just declared war on the tabloids. Barış grinned. No. I just declared my love. With the revelation came both adoration and backlash. Fans celebrated, but critics questioned their intentions. Is this real or a PR stunt? Articles demanded. Elçin felt the weight of scrutiny. She cried one night, whispering, I don't want to lose myself again to the spotlight. Barış pulled her close. Then don't. Because this time, you're not alone. I'm with you. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. They learned to balance their careers with their relationship. Barış would visit her during shoots, Elçin would surprise him on set. They cooked together, laughed over silly things, argued about little matters but always made up with deeper love. One morning, as the sun rose over Istanbul, Barış whispered, do you ever imagine, forever? Elçin smiled softly. Every day. It was on a quiet night in Cappadocia. Hot air balloons dotted the morning sky, and stars glittered above them. Barış knelt down, holding a small velvet box. Elçin, we've written so many love stories for the screen. But I want this one to be ours, real, eternal. Will you marry me? Tears filled her eyes. She laughed through them. You're late, Barış. I've been waiting for you all along. She said yes. Their wedding was intimate, away from the chaos of the press. Close friends, family, and a garden filled with white roses. Elçin walked down the aisle, radiant, while Barış's eyes shone with tears. As they exchanged vows, it wasn't just two actors, it was two souls finally home. Life wasn't perfect, no life ever is. But together, they found peace, strength, and a love deeper than what they had ever played on screen. Fans continued to adore them, but this time, it wasn't just a story for television. It was real, it was theirs. And it was forever. Married life was sweet for Barış and Elçin. They found joy in the smallest things, cooking together, watching old movies, or taking long walks by the Bosphorus. For the first time, fame didn't feel like a prison, it felt like a bridge that had brought them together. But even the strongest love faces shadows. One evening, while Elçin was going through some old scripts, she stumbled across a letter tucked between the pages. It was from a past relationship, an old flame who had once broken her heart. The words were painful, full of regret and apologies. Though it meant nothing to her now, Barış walked into the room just as she was holding it. His eyes darkened. "What's that?" "Just something from the past," Elçin said softly. Barış frowned. "Why keep it at all?" The tension in the air grew heavy. Barış had always been protective, sometimes too much. Elçin, on the other hand, valued her independence and freedom. That night, they argued, not loudly, but deeply. "It's not about the letter, Barış," Elçin whispered, tears threatening. "It's about trust. Do you think I would ever betray what we have?" Barış turned away, struggling with his own insecurities. "No, but sometimes the past feels closer than I want it to be." They went to bed in silence, the first real distance between them since their love began. The next morning, Istanbul woke to rain. The city streets glistened, and the sound of raindrops echoed through their home. Elçin stood by the window, lost in thought. Barış approached her, guilt written all over his face. "I'm sorry," he said finally. "I let my fears get in the way. You've always been honest with me, and I should have trusted that." Elçin turned, her eyes softening. "Love isn't about perfection, Barış. It's about facing our fears together. I want us to always be honest, even when it's messy, even when it hurts." He pulled her into his arms, holding her tightly as the rain poured outside. In that moment, they weren't actors, nor celebrities. They were just two people, learning to love through both light and shadow. Months passed, and their bond grew even stronger. They traveled together, Paris, Rome, and hidden corners of Turkey where no one recognized them. But one night, under the soft glow of their bedroom lights, Elçin asked a question that changed everything. "Barış, do you ever think about children?" The words hung in the air like a fragile secret. Barış froze, his mind racing. He had always dreamed of being a father, but the idea terrified him. Would he be good enough? Could they raise a family under the endless eyes of the media? He looked into Elçin's hopeful eyes and realized something: love was already transforming him. He nodded slowly. "Yes. I think about it every day. And if it's with you, then I'm ready." Tears welled in her eyes as she smiled, whispering, "Then maybe it's time."